right that I don't deserve to speak up? Are they right that my story is illegitimate or nobody will care? So when you can really heal inside, go on your healing journey, embrace your wholeness, these things from the outside just have so little hold on you because it's like there's no place to land. You kind of get more of a waterproof cover. And that doesn't mean you're never going to feel hurt or you're never going to feel rejected, but you have so much more resilience to deal with it. And it's not a guarantee, but quite often people don't feel like they have the right to criticize you or mess with you when you show up as really more whole and more embodied. I experienced this with a family member in my life who used to criticize me so much. And that fear of criticism was just like, oh, so strong. And, the more that I center myself in knowing my worth and the more that I embrace my wholeness, this person really hardly ever goes at me anymore. I receive so few criticisms anymore. And he criticizes other people. And that's still painful, but not me. So it doesn't mean you'll never experience these things, but first of all, you have more resilience and they become less frequent.
So it sounds like if I were going to start, I'm starting to see kind of like the steps, the Sarah steps to finding and activating your authentic voice. That's the way I'm kind of looking at it. And it feels like phase one is really catch a vision for more finding your authentic voice, and bringing more of yourself to the table. I think step two is to decide within the 4 quadrants around repressed and empowered, silence, what was the silence or choice, or like making choice within there. So that seems to be
Yeah.
like the step 2. Then 3 is you really have to deal with the 4 visibility fears, which has to do with being ignored, being judged, being criticized, and I forgot the 4th one. There was a 4th one. What's the 4th one?
Rejection.
Fear of rejection. So these are like the 4. So like once you get that part, it seems like now you're ready to play with whatever it is that you want to communicate. You can start really playing with the message. It seems like we're kind of like moving into, I think what you said in the book is something about like channels, really at that point, you're ready to open up your channels for divine inspiration is I think one of the things that people get out of your book. What is that accurate as the next phase, or am I kind of thinking about this correctly?
Yeah, I love how you are really able to distill things down. So I would say that it's kind of a fluid and circular journey. So there are times when you can feel like, yes, I am ready to share my authentic voice. And you put yourself out there. And then afterwards, you kind of feel like, oh, that was kind of scary. And all of my fears of being ignored came up, or whatever it might be. So it's not like you have to go after the wounds and like dig in consciously. They'll come up. If
Yeah.
you are
Sure.
if you are committed to your expansion, just like you are, Betsy, as you say, you're stepping into next level thought leadership and writing a book. They'll come up.
Yeah, you
If you're
don't have to
growing,
dig
if
for
you're
'em.
developing,
They're
they
just gonna
will.
happen.
Exactly. They will
Just say,
emerge
let's just
asking to be
welcome to
healed.
the table when they show up. And
Yes.
but it seems like there's some work around these types of things, like maybe just enough to kind of get those parts, engaged with you on the journey,
Mhm.
and then I assume that must have something to do with the opening of the channels for divine inspiration as the next phase, that
Absolutely.
you get them on like what else would you say opens up the channels? Like I don't know if it's kind of like when you talk about divine inspiration, it's sort of like Elizabeth Gilbert and her big magic, where she talks about like ideas being these energetic forms looking for human collaborators to make it manifest, and you're just listening for those like ideas, like, oh, which one wants me to make it manifest, or like, what do you mean by this?
Yeah, that's a really important question. So I love the book, Big Magic. I feel like the way Elizabeth Gilbert lays it out is they're quite personified. They're like little people who kind of are whispering to you. I don't know if I've ever felt it quite that specific, but I know the feeling in my heart and in my hand and in my body when it's like, oh, this wants to be written down. This wants to be spoken right now, or this wants to be sung, or this video wants to be made. So the channel for divine inspiration really, it's just that inspiration is just within you. And to me, it's like these ideas are like seeds that they're just waiting for the conditions to be safe enough, for the timing to be right, for you to create a little bit of time and space so that you can sit down and write them or create the talk or create the new offering, whatever it is that you feel called to do. So I think that probably every person experiences them a little differently, but to me, yes, they are like seeds. And it's just a part of me that is meant to be brought into the world of form. And when I speak about the channel, I'm really thinking about the physical channel of your throat because, well, I work with the voice, obviously. The throat chakra, if you're familiar with chakras in the yogic system, is actually the place of manifestation, of bringing things into the world of form. So you have this empty space. You take in a breath, which is really borrowed energy. It's part of our symbiotic relationship with the physical world that we can just take in this lovely breath. And then our brain sends a signal to our vocal cords to vibrate as the air comes out. And we are taking the intangible, we're taking what you can't see or hear, the air, and we are giving it a form that we can understand. So